back to Double Down University. I'm back at you guys with another soccer prospects video. I just got finished breaking down the 11 a.m. Spanish game between Granada and Cadiz, and I have 4 props that really stood out to me as I was doing the research, and I'll share them with you guys. So the first pick I have is Jared Gumbo over 4.5 crosses. Raul Torrente over 3.5 clearances, as well as Andre Ferreira over 2.5 saves, and Lucas Perez over 2 tackles. So let's get into it. So first off, I like to look at the lineups, make sure everybody's in the projected lineups. Now, granted, these are projected, so some of these players can get subbed out for a backup, or a lot of these soccer teams rotate their squads because they play a lot of games within a short period of time. So you want to kind of have all their players fully rested, especially for bigger matches, or especially if they're in cup games, cup competitions, where it's like additional tournaments added on to their original schedule. So pretty much everybody that I have in my slip is pretty much on this projected starting lineup. And both teams are going to either play one version of a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3, and all that is really meaning. And I broke this down in a lot of my other soccer videos, but to those that are new, that's just watching for the first time, basically a 4-4-2 is basically 4 of your back line. So these are your closest defenders. I kind of use my curse instead of my pen, but these 4 right here are your back line. So you have your center backs, 2 center backs, and you have 2 wing backs. And basically all these wing backs are supposed to cover up the attacking players. So like when he goes forward, number 27 and 25, when they go forward, he kind of covers them up. If they were to, let's say they would give the ball up in this area and the other team goes forward, he was to protect them. And then vice versa, they're supposed to come back and slide into their positions and be able to fully defend as a team. So that's a 4-4-2, and normally this is like a low block. So most likely all of these players right here in this back line, this middle line of 4, kind of just fill in these half spaces. So they want to kind of create a wall defensively to where there's no like gaps or holes in the wall to be able to get shots on goal at the goalkeeper and score. So he's their last line of defense. So let's get into it. Let's start off with Torrente. So Torrente, with his clearances, he is a guy I always like to look at scouting reports too, because it tells you a lot. It tells you what type of player these players are. So I'm big on scouting reports, specifically just the league scouting reports, because I want to know what they did in the league, not necessarily in other tournaments. So with him, defensively, let's scroll down to defense. So defensively, he is really, really good at clearances, as he's averages 4.44. So we're getting a discount at 3.5 at 4 clearances. And then also I took it a step further and looked at their last time they played each other, and he was actually still on the team at the time. So he actually got 5 clearances, as you can see here, these dots. So this is a clearance, this is a clearance, and so on and so forth. So he got 5 clearances in this matchup. But the biggest thing that stood out to me is the disparity between clearances. As you can see, that Granada only crossed the ball 3 times into the box that give Cadiz clearance opportunities. So one thing about Cadiz is they're really cross heavy, so they like to cross the ball in the box. As you can see here, it says, let's see, I'm scroll up. So it tells you their style of play. So they play with width. They use a lot of long balls. They attempt crosses often. So that normally tends to be clearances on the other side, the opposition side. So we're going to take Granada's clearances as well. And then also with Torrente, he's done a pretty good job with clearances. As you can see here, he's had 6-7 games over this clearance line. But he's also been a sub in a lot of these games, so kind of take that, with a grain of salt. But I really, really like him. He did well in head-to-head matchup, and I just think that he's going to have a lot of opportunities to clear the ball, especially if Granada goes up and they score early and they're ahead. Then it will leave a lot of opportunities for the other team, because they're going to have to go for it and try to tie it up, and then eventually get the second goal if they can. So I really, really like that. Moving on to Lucas Perez. One thing about him, same situation. On all the games that he did start, he's hit this, or at least pushed this line. He's only missed once, as you can see here. Against Atletico Madrid, it was a 3-2 scoreline. and he only managed to get 1 tackle instead of the 2 to push or 3. So in every other game, he's gotten at least 2 or went over, as you can see, 3, 6, and 9. So he's kind of new. He doesn't have too much of a history that you can look back on. So it's kind of a small sample size. But from my point of view and how I basically project the game script is that Granada will have a lot of possession, and they will also force the other team into tackles because they will have to sit back and defend Cadiz. So, but they will have their chances on a counterattack, and I'll kind of get into that in my game script basically with the other plays. But I really like him to be able to go get in and get 2 tackles. So he's one of a willing tackler as well. So I really like his tackles. Moving forward to the goalkeeper. So with the goalkeeper, which is pretty crazy when I've seen. Let me see if I can find it again. So at home, he has covered this line in every game except for 1 game, as you can see here, where I highlighted. So he had 3 saves, 8 saves, 2 saves, 5, and then 7. So he's really good in that aspect. And then as well, I like on here on FB reference, they kind of show you how many shots on target he had against him. So meaning how many shots on target the other team had, which is potential opportunities. Now, if they score, it doesn't count as a save to those who are new. But if he saves it, it counts as a save actually. So let's look at his home form. So at home, he's faced 5 shots on target. He faced 4 shots, 6 shots, 5, 10, 3, and then 9. And then he's managed, like I said, he's managed to come away with at least 3 saves in those positions. So what that's telling me is that the defense is very poor for Granada, and they allow a lot of shots on goal. And if I go and look at my notebook, so one thing about them is that they give up the 3rd most shots in the Liga at home. So they give up 13.6 shots conceded. So that bodes really well, especially if Cadiz can get some shots on target. I don't think Cadiz will score. I think the odds for both teams to score is towards no, leaning towards no. So I think that Granada will win probably 1-0, 2-0. But I don't think that Cadiz will score. If they do, it'll be off like a lucky set piece or just something where, or even a penalty. So I really like Ferreira to get 3 saves in this matchup as well. Moving on to Gumbau. With Gumbau, he is basically the main set piece taker, and he does take a lot of corners for them as well. As you can scroll down, I'm gonna scroll down. You can see, so he takes all of the free kicks, basically all the set pieces. And to those that are new again to soccer, set pieces is basically like, let's say for instance, let's take it in basketball terms. So basketball terms, a set piece is like if somebody was to foul you in the offensive side of the court, when you might have run a screen or back screen and somebody holds you and pulls you, so it's a foul. So they do a side out of bounds. But in soccer, wherever the point of the foul is, you get a free kick. So free kick could mean you line up all of your offensive players and y'all create a line, and then the person that has the free kick kicks it and crosses it into the box to try to get like a assist through like a header that's to try to score. So he takes all their set pieces, whether it's corners and free kicks. Now free kicks count as crosses as long as it's into the box and it's towards one of your teammates to either head the ball, or even if they miss and is off target, it still counts as a cross. It just has to be crossed into the box in order for it to count as an actual cross. So with him, I like him to go over 4.5, and I think they are projected on sportsbooks to get at least 4 corners. So a lot of his work is predominantly corner based, meaning that a lot of his crosses are going to come strictly just from corners. As you can see here, he had 8, 5, and 1. So as you can see, the inconsistencies is because of the number of corners. But when I really dug into his corners and basically Cadiz and the opponents that they faced, and just to kind of get a view of how teams have been doing against them as far as set piece wise. So against Real Sociedad, their corner specialist Kubo, he had 4 corners and 6 crosses. The opponent before that had 2 corners, 5 crosses. The opponent before that had 2 corners, 5 crosses. The opponent before that had 10 crosses, 10 corners, and 13 crosses, and then so on and so forth. 1 corner, 7 crosses, 3 corners, 5 crosses. But one thing that's also a bonus for Renata here is that Cadiz fouls a lot. So by them fouling a lot, it gives a lot of free kick opportunities for them to get easy set pieces as well as corners. And then they also concede 7 corners on the road to opponents. So that is well above our mark of what we need, which is 4.5. So I think this probably bumps to 5. This and the clearances probably bumps to 5, or the clearances bumped it from 3.5 to 4 soon. So I really like the value here. Do we have any more? I think that's it. I think we covered all of them. So I'll go back through them. So we have Gumbau over 4.5 crosses. Raul Torrente over 3.5 clearances. Andre Ferreira over 2.5 saves. As well as Lucas Perez over 2 tackles. I appreciate you guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.